What's up, everyone? Another chart review today. Just one trade for me today, and I almost found out after effing around, as the title says. So let's get into it. Overnight, we had this big downtrend, really strong downtrend. Market catching up with the events happening around the world, down over 150 points. We eventually get a break new low. Then we start correcting here. We have an uptrend. And spike in channel I drew, break new high. I think I logged on around here, about 15 minutes before the open. So when I started looking for trades, we had this downtrend, break new low, and we started to range. As the open was about to come around, we had the short term uptrend. I did play with this type of wider channel as a potential channel, but then I decided to keep it as this narrower trend. Again, here, small trend, break new low or overshoot. We went back in the other direction, break new high. And eventually around 10 minutes after the open, we start to come down quite strongly. Another break new low. And then we come here, and I wasn't playing this at the time, so I'll move it out the way. I think I let my bias get to me a little. I was pretty sure in my mind that after this, or after the pre-market, and this big downtrend here, another push down here, I was sure we were going to keep going lower. So we have this down channel as well, break new low. We come up, and I try to tell myself that it already had a break new high. Then I was like a deer stuck in headlights in the sense that I saw here first entry long, second entry long failure. So first attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. This bar ends on its lows. We also have a sort of mini second entry short, and I kind of glanced at it and thought it was like a lower high as well of this second entry short. And I didn't have this drawn either. And it's in these conditions, it's one of my weaknesses that I will look at this and my finger takes over and goes, oh, failed second entry long, boom, and we're into the trade. And this took me on an emotional roller coaster because then I calculated the risk again, taking too much risk here. And at one point, I think we're about 5 points in drawdown. Thankfully, it comes back. By about this time, I was pretty sure we were going lower. We got scalped out for 10 ticks. To decide on these very high ATR days, if there is a if there's a high ATR, 5-6 points of ATR, I'll just increase the scalp target to half ATR for now. So ATR was just above 5 points, so 2.5 points was the target on the scalp. Good trades will go quite easily 10 ticks, but if you're like me and you take a substandard trade, you might be waiting in some congestion before getting scalped out. So after this trade, I decided to take some time just to let price develop. Because there was a few things contextual wise that I missed here. Sideways support here, and all downtrends had played out. So I'll put this back. Once we kept whipping down here, I tried to draw, I think I drew it first, something like this, and then altered it to this. But when I zoom out, it doesn't really look that good, so I didn't really decide to play It's in real time. Was a difficult part of it, Davis, because it kind of you had a feeling we were going to just break down, but each time we dropped, there would be a quite violent and quick reversal above the EMA. Happens again here. So quite unclear. It was an area of development for me. And then we get this downtrend here, break new low, some congestion. If Mac is sure of a reversal here, I imagine he might mark this higher low. He sometimes likes these type of plays here. And also there's a failed second entry short here. Possibly he might mark those. At the time, again, I was maybe just thinking we were going lower. So I wasn't really thinking of a reversal at this point. But we do eventually reverse quite strongly. We have this channel here, break. Didn't see any way to get in long here. Then I considered a wider channel, but even on this one, I had a break new high. And then some congestion around the EMA before this down channel gets a new low. And then we're off to the races in the other direction. And at first, I was playing this channel here. Once we got a few bounces here. And it looked okay at the time. And then I was considering a second entry long here. So we make a break of that channel. First entry long, second entry long. But it closed below its midway point. A lot of wick. So I decided to wait on a higher low, but didn't happen. So we made a new high on this channel. Have a downtrend, it gets overshoot, and we continue up. Again, possibly Mac, if he plays this wider uptrend, which I'm not sure, he might mark this second entry long, first entry, second entry long. At the time, I didn't have this wider down channel marked out. So I was thinking after this uptrend got a new high, we might start to reverse down again. And we were going quite sideways. But if someone was playing this uptrend already, you have a first entry, second entry long at the EMA. Does close just at the EMA, but off the channel. Might be an option. And we continue up, and here is where a trade a lot of PATS traders took, I believe, but I didn't. So we continue up, we get this downtrend, short-term downtrend. We get a first entry long, second entry long here. I didn't take this because we were still in this short-term channel. And then we eventually get this candle here as a higher low. And it looks almost identical to the higher low I took yesterday, which Thomas Wade did eventually mark in his chart review. But I didn't like how sideways we were here, and I didn't really like my trade yesterday. But I can see why it might be an attractive trade, because we have 4 candles here defending the EMA. And if you're sure of this uptrend, you probably think we're going higher. I was just a bit concerned of how sideways we were, plus this down channel didn't have a new low. You might draw it a bit tighter like this, but I was quite comfortable with it like that for in real time. So I skipped this one, but it does work. I did maybe consider a failed second entry long, but by the time it happens, we're quite far from the EMA. One I saw after the fact, so we make almost 3 legs of equal correction. Do I have this leg of correction, this leg of correction, and this one? And then we have a first entry short, second entry short failure. And if you're expecting a new high of this up channel, that might be a trade to consider. I would believe there's quite a lot of shorts trapped in this bar. I didn't take it because, quite honestly, at this point, I still wasn't 100% sure of this big channel. And at one point, I drew this, and it looked quite good. And with how bearish the pre-market was, I thought we might have another attempt lower. So I didn't take this second entry short because I saw we were still in this short-term channel. But then afterwards, I did delete this channel. And then I saw this potential failed second entry long after the fact. Possibly. Now it'd be interesting to see if Mac or Thomas Wade talk about that one. By this point, as you can see, I start drawing M's, W's, and once I start drawing channels, it's just up, down, up, down, up, down. I know that's maybe a time for me to walk away for the day. I had already been at the desk about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours without a break. So we go down, we go up, break new high, down, up, down again, up. And I think around this point, I decided to walk away and do some gardening. I had to cut back some bushes in my garden, so I decided to do that. Maybe there is another channel. I did start to think maybe there was like a range at this point. Did look not too bad, this range, but just one touch at the bottom. Maybe Mac might find another type of channel like this, maybe. But at the time, I wasn't playing that, so I walked away from my desk. But yeah, from about this point, I wasn't at my desk, so before the video, I quickly marked up what I saw. But again, nothing really I saw that I would have liked. Looks like ATR dropped. And again, a lot of drops. Maybe Mac might like this higher low, break new low, higher low. But yeah, nothing jumps out to me. Maybe in this wider down channel, we had like a second entry short, but it's a double bar entry, huge 8-point stop loss, and maybe in real time you're not playing this down channel. Nothing jumps out at me, but maybe Mac will have his usual 20 trades marked. Wouldn't surprise me. But in real time, always a bit difficult these days, because when you have such a strong down channel like this in pre-market, you start to think that it's going to continue like that with all the news as well. So I think I came into the day with a short bias, and maybe something to watch out for. And I just took this one trade, which again, with the sideways congestion, plus doji here, plus down channels had all played out. Yeah, a lot of negatives to this trade. But again, I'm just going to try and take all that as a positive. Has a lot of things to journal about and put into my plan of action on how to improve. But at least, I mean, on the days like this, I would have been prone in the past to making a stupid mistake or jumping into a trade late in the day. I'd set my goal to have two good scalps a day, so there's always that feeling after the first one. Oh, let's try and find another scalp. Let's hit that target of 2 trades. But I tell myself that's only if there are actually 2 good trades. It will be interesting to see how Mac and Thomas Wade chart this up. The one thing I did notice yesterday is that I drew a spike in channel which no one else drew. And I think it's because I finished trading quite early. There was also a wider channel that I didn't see that Mac and Thomas Wade drew. So I was a bit sad or a bit down about my chart drawing yesterday. So today going forward, it's something I'm really going to focus on. I think the chart drawing is something that you can maybe take for granted after a couple of years of doing this, but there's still always a lot of work to work on. I do feel a lot more independent drawing the charts now. I think when I started out, I was in Discords and I was always looking for confirmation from other Discord users or from other YouTubers just to see what charts they had. But now I feel more confident in my own read, and I accept that chart reading and chart drawing, it's almost like playing and learning a musical instrument. If you give everyone a guitar, they'll probably have their own way of playing a guitar, their own rhythm, and that's likely the same with trading and chart drawing. So Mac will like a trade, Thomas Wade won't. And the same for all PATS traders. So trying to find that balance between being good at chart reading and also accepting that I'll have my own style of charting and drawing, and as long as I'm thinking logically and following the strategy, it should all work out in the end. But at least another day of 1 win, nothing catastrophic happened, and I didn't do anything silly after the first trade. So yeah, here to fight another day. Well, thanks again. Hope you had a good trading day, and see you next time. Bye bye.